All right, so the unconstitutional airstrikes in Yemen continue, folks. And hey, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've noticed gas prices are already starting to creep on up. They're almost hitting $3 where I'm at. Judge Tanya Chutkan refuses outright to hold Jack Smith in contempt of court for defying her own order when the case in the election case was stayed. Jack Smith continued to file motions and all this other stuff. So she, no surprise there. She refuses to hold him in contempt of court for that. Yeah, Trump's got a lot of stuff going on right now, folks. It is up in the air who's going to be his running mate. We have no idea. A lot of people believe and want Tucker Carlson. Don't know if that's going to happen. Tucker doesn't seem interested. Vivek Ramaswamy would be a good choice. Y'all know I love Vivek Ramaswamy. I think he would be good for the country. So if he makes vice president, that would be great. Elise Stefanik, who the main story today is who we're talking about, could be the running mate. We got Kari Lake would be an awesome VP. It is official. The Senate has passed the stopgap measure funding the government until March. So we're going to see about that. Marjorie Taylor Greene threatens to oust Mike Johnson. No surprise there. We know that's probably, somebody's probably going to go there. Mike Johnson has totally flopped, man. And he has lost any faith I had that he would do a decent job. He is just doing the same stuff Kevin McCarthy did. And it's just disappointing, folks. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, and how he has not done what he said he was going to do. But what's up, everybody? How the hell's your day going? I hope y'all are having a pretty good day. This here is Legitical Response. We cover political news, keep you up to date on what is going on in the government, because we all need to know what the government's doing, because they do stuff behind our backs all the time, and the mainstream media doesn't necessarily cover a lot of this stuff, like this stopgap measure. You might hear a brief segment on it, but you're not going to get detailed information on exactly what's going on. You think, oh, well, they're averting a government shutdown. Well, you might not know that we may need a government shutdown to get spending in control, because we have an out-of-control spending problem in the government right now. That's why I call Washington the sewage. That's all it is sewage. We're just all the waste and everything just goes to the sewage, and it just, people go there to die. Essentially, as people, as good, upstanding people, politicians, it's filled with politicians, folks. But like I said, what's up, y'all? If y'all interested in keeping up with what the government's doing, smash that subscribe button for me and turn on your notifications. It would be a big help. And also, if you could, do me a big favor and smash that like button. Kindly, though. You don't have to smash it hard. Just smash it kindly, if you don't mind. But enough of my rambling. Let's go ahead and get into the news today. Now, this story isn't really top headline news, if you know what I mean. But it is something that I just want to point out to everybody, how the mainstream media lies through their teeth, omits information, and all that other stuff. So check this out, y'all. Democrat Goldman introduces censure resolution against GOP's Stefanik for calling January 6 defendants hostages. Very interesting. We have a member of the Democrat Party in Congress censuring another member of the GOP, another member of Congress, for speech. You would think that being a congressman, that they would have an oath to the Constitution to uphold our constitutional norms, right? The First Amendment. Guess not. Check this out. Dan Goldman introduces a resolution Wednesday to censure Rep. Elise Stefanik after she defended January 6 defendants in an interview earlier this month, calling them hostages, echoing language used by former President Donald Trump, who Stefanik has endorsed for president. Goldman's resolution references a series of comments Stefanik has made in defense of January 6 rioters, including stating during the January 7th Meet the Press interview that she has concerns about the treatment of January 6 hostages, repeating a controversial term used by Trump and his allies that suggested accused and convicted rioters of being unfairly jailed and prosecuted. No, not at all. See, this is where they just throw in their own little whatever they're thinking that she thought, and they just lie, because that's not what she's talking about at all. Of course, anybody who was violent and got arrested on January 6th, they deserve to be there. She is talking about the people that were just walking around. The other day, a U.S. attorney come out and said that they're going to start arresting and prosecuting people that weren't violent, that were just there, that happened to be by the barricades, people that weren't really doing anything wrong. They've already arrested like 1,700 people in reference to this case, to the January 6th Capitol attack. 1,700 people, 700 people have been convicted, and a lot more to come. And there is story after story after story of people that showed up, didn't break down barriers, weren't violent, got waved in by the police into the building, walked around, and then left, and are still sitting in jail without a court date. None of that. There have been people, this is proven, you can look it up, CNN has this, by the way, to debunk some of this, has a story of a guy getting all of his charges dropped because there's video evidence of cops waving him into the building. And then it just shows him walking in, walking around, and then walking out. Hundreds of people did that on January 6th. You got to remember, the Capitol building is huge, and there was two sides. One side was violent, the other side wasn't. They're just lying here. Stefanik in December improperly filed a bogus and vindictive ethics complaint against a judge who ruled against January 6 rioters, Goldman charged. Referring to Stefanik's request for an ethics investigation into U.S. District Court Judge Beryl Howell over Beryl's comments about observing the consequences of big lies when sentencing convicted January 6 rioters. Right. I would have a problem with that too, considering she sounds like she is spitting mainstream narrative machine propaganda. Big lies. Whatever. The resolution also targets Stefanik's criticism of Special Counsel Jack Smith and the merits of his investigations into Trump's alleged efforts to overturn results of the 2020 presidential election, along with various instances in which she has promoted Trump's false claims of election fraud. I'm sorry, you are allowed to lie. However, if you believe it to be true, that clearly falls under the First Amendment. And it hasn't been proven that Trump is lying about this. There is always fraud in every single election. I'm sorry. There's no getting around it. The question is, was there enough? I don't personally think so. I think that as far as election results, Joe Biden won. But what can you say about that, right? There was some fraud. Was there enough? I don't think so. Some people do. They have their right to think that. However, there was some very underhanded stuff that went on, like changing election laws without the consent of Congress or the state representatives. In addition, the resolution references Stefanik's refusal to commit to certifying the results of the 2024 presidential election in her January Meet the Press interview, citing the disproven theory that the results in some states were invalid because they had changed their election laws to adhere to pandemic-era restrictions. That's exactly what I was just now talking about. And by the way, as far as her saying she refuses to certify the 2024 election, that is a lie. An interviewer asked her if she would certify the 2024 election. Her exact quote was, "If it's constitutional." How is that refusing to certify it. That's like an analogy I heard. If you have a house being built, right? And you're going to buy the house. So you have an inspector. You call an inspector to inspect the house once it's finished. And you ask him, are you going to certify this house to be safe and finished before you go inspect it? He's going to say, well, no, of course not. There could be all kind of problems with the house. Why would I commit to certifying something when it hasn't happened yet? That's where they get you. The mainstream media loves to do this crap, y'all. If you provide comfort to those people who have been charged and convicted of violent attempts to overthrow your government, you are supporting people who attack the Capitol and attack this body, Goldman told the New York Times, which is totally irrelevant to what Elise Stefanik is talking about. Once again, they're trying to put words into people's brains to make them think that she is defending the violent people during January 6th. That's not what she's doing. Get your facts straight. Stefanik's spokesperson, Alex DeGrasse, accused Goldman and failed far-left House Democrats of being in absolute desperate freefall that Elise Stefanik continues to be one of the most effective members of Congress in a statement to multiple outlets in response to the resolution. The statement claimed Goldman and other Democrats are desperate because they know Joe Biden is going to lose in this November. Stefanik, one of the first members of Congress to endorse Trump's 2024 White House bid and a rumored candidate to be his running mate, was widely criticized for her use of the word hostages in the January Meet the Press interview. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said Stefanik should be ashamed of herself, while some members of her own party also contested the language, including Rep. Brian Fitzpatrick, who told the Washington Post they're criminal defendants, not hostages. Stefanik and GOP leadership have shown deepening allegiance to Trump as he appears poised to clinch the Republican presidential nomination, despite many in the party, including Stefanik, espousing sharp criticism of rioters in the immediate aftermath of January 6th. Trump has referred to January 6th as a beautiful day and has continued to stand by his unfounded claims of election fraud on the campaign trail despite multiple failed GOP-backed lawsuits seeking to contest the results. Once again, Hakeem Jeffries and these other people, they'll hear a news story saying, oh, Elise Stefanik said this, called them hostages. And then they automatically think the violent people, right? That's what we all think when you think January 6th. Everybody forgets that there was a whole nother side to this story. There was a peaceful side where people were just walking in. Cops were letting people into the building, right? They couldn't just walk in. Every single entrance has an electronic access control device. You have to scan a card or punch in a number. So they can't just walk in. Somebody has to let them in, or they have to have a card or access to get into the building. So cops fanning people in, how is that illegal? It's not. These are the people she is talking about. Some of those people that got fanned in were thrown in jail. That's the people she's talking about, folks. I love pointing out the mainstream narrative machine's BS because it's all over the place and you gotta watch out for it. You gotta watch out hard. And that's all I got for this one, folks. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. How often do you get duped by the mainstream narrative machine? Do you think that they just tell the truth all the time? NBC is probably one of the worst, but all of them do it. Every single one of them does it. But let me know what you think about the censure of Elise Stefanik. Is it even worth our time to entertain the idea of Dan Goldman, a known liar who has lied to Congress, who has lied to the American people on national TV several times? Let me know what you think about the mainstream narrative machine misconstruing what people say and twisting it up into these stories to try to paint a false narrative. Let me know what y'all think. Like I said, that's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And don't forget, do me a favor and smash that like button for me. And Y'all try to have a good day and be positive. Peace.